Hey guys, it's Sharon from Digital Nomad Quest, and I get a lot of questions around how I continuously work on my projects. How do I persevere in these projects? And I think I get these questions a lot because I've built a lot of things from ground up. Like, I love creating new projects. I love to create new music. I love to work on my passive income streams. I love to build my brand. Like, I'm all about creating and building. And I've thought about it for a while, and I think it comes down to 4 things. So first off, today, right, I have been kind of scrambling, trying to get a lot of work done. I feel a bit behind on my content. And what I notice that keeps me going and keeps me motivated, keeps me on task, is I use this app called Google Keep. And you should use something like that, like an app like that, or just use a notepad, where Google Keep is basically a notepad. It's like a place where you can write down your notes, you can write down your checklist items. And what I do is every day I might write down all the tasks I want to get done by the end of that day. Like, what will make me happy accomplishing by the end of that day. So you don't want to stretch it out. You don't want to make these long stretch goals that you don't know if you're going to accomplish, because if you don't accomplish those things, you're going to feel bad about yourself. You want to make it stuff that you know you can handle, and you're going to feel good about yourself when you finish them. So for example, even the simplest thing like, oh, text my friend back as a line item, or like send an email to this person. Sometimes I put those things as line items in my daily task sheet, which looks like nothing, but honestly, every time I check it off, I feel really good about myself. That's what keeps me going. It keeps me inspired and motivated when I can check off each item, and when I'm done with it, I'm like, yes, I did it. Right? So keep a daily task list of what you can actually handle. The second thing is you gotta have like a long-term vision of everything. You have to maybe write down your yearly goals, your 5-year goals. I have this 5-year plan thing that I have broken down from 5 years to 1 year to monthly to weekly to daily. I wrote a whole blog post about how I write my goals down and achieve them, and I'll link that below. But basically, it keeps me understanding the macro vision. And a lot of people attempt these bigger projects or start a business without thinking longer term. I've had people come up to me like, oh, how can I improve my YouTube channel, or how can I get sales on my Etsy shop? And I'm just like, how long have you been doing it? If you have only been doing it for like a month or less, it's like you have nothing to say. I spent a year and a half getting to past $1,000 a month in passive income. It takes a long time. You have to think macro, okay? So that's how you don't give up. You have to think, okay, I'm in this for at least like 5 years or something. That's like kind of a stretch. I prefer to think in that time frame. Anytime people get impatient and try to complain about not getting results right away, this is what I tell them, that you have to think long term, or else it's not gonna work out. You're gonna burn out because you think that, oh, I don't get anything from this, why am I doing this then, right? You can't think that way. You have to remember that 99% of people give up, and that 1% succeeds because they think in that long-term time frame. Thirdly, I like to be passionate about the things I pursue. So right now I am building my brand, and I am passionate about that. I was building my YouTube channel around music. I was passionate about that. Those were sustainable because I love them and I want to keep working on them, versus working on something that I really don't care about just to make money. That's just not as sustainable. It's just a lot easier when you actually care about what you're doing. Then you can be really authentic with your audience. You can be building something that you actually passionately care about. And I feel like you hear this a lot, right? I have experienced this multiple times where, you know, I was building some of these passive income streams that I was mainly just trying to get monetary gain from it, where I didn't feel fulfilled from it, and I couldn't keep going with some of these streams. I find that now I'm working on something that's more fulfilling. It might take longer for me to see gains, but it's more sustainable, and longer term it will reap more benefits for me later, and I will be more fulfilled from it. That's what keeps me going with it. And the fourth thing, honestly, like my pet peeve, when people tell me that, oh, I'm so excited about pursuing this project, then a month later I see they've stopped doing it consistently and they move on to something else, and they keep doing that. They keep moving on to something else, and every time they say they're gonna do something, they're never really gonna do it. I also hate when people say they're gonna do something and they're like, but I don't want to put in the work, or like, you know, after a few weeks they're like, oh, I don't see any results, like I'm over it. I guess it's like a 2-part thing. Some people who skip all the time and like drop off, or they don't even want to put in the work but they're all talk, right? It's like the same concept, where I don't like when people say they're gonna do something and they don't do it. Because of that, I'm critical of myself if I ever do that. So I don't want to be identifying to that kind of label. So maybe that's why I am good about staying consistent with things. And I know that anything that is good for me is gonna have some type of resistance. And I know that it's hard to do it because that's usually the case when it's like the thing that's gonna create growth for you or the thing you know you need to do is usually gonna be met with the most resistance. And having done this for so long, I'm just like trained to understand that I gotta keep persevering no matter what. I don't want to be labeled as that person who will say they're gonna do something and they won't actually do it. So I think those are the 4 main reasons that I can stay like consistent with my projects, and those are kind of my tips around it. If you want to be consistent with what you're doing, you just have to persevere during the resistance, and you have to kind of like stay organized so that you can consistently check off your to-do list, stay with that macro vision of where you're trying to go, and it'll keep you going. I hope this video makes sense. I hope it helped you. Let me know in the comments below what your tips are around consistency. And if you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe, hit that bell button to be notified of my latest videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.